This is a real straightforward process with a little common sense. Most homeowners are allowed to do their own electrical as a part of the permit. Please check your local building codes in your area. And as always, if you're unsure about any of this work, please contact your local electrician and get that job done right for you. Thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Jofalltrades. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're tackling the spa kit, the Spapack that you get with the GFCI breaker. You know, there's a few videos out there that do a really good job of showing you how to wire up the GFCI breaker in the spa kit to connect your load feed from your hot tub and the wiring from the main panel. But I wanted to take you through it from unboxing and showing you how to set up the spa kit panel. I noticed that they kind of jumped right to it and the panel was already together. There's a couple things that you do have to do beforehand, but dealing with your connectors and your knockouts and setting up your ground bar on the panel. So I just want to walk you through that quick, and we'll finish it off with mounting the panel onto the house. In this case, we got a stucco finish on the house that we're dealing with. So let's have a look at what we got. Okay guys, so for this particular hot tub, it requires a 40 amp 230 volt service. So we got ourselves a 40 amp spa kit made by Siemens. These kits are good because not only do you get the correct panel, but it comes along with the GFCI breaker that you need to have outside that the load from the tub is hooked into. So let's see what we got in the box here. This is our breaker, and we got our panel, and everything else should be inside. So let's take a look here. So yeah, this is our GFCI breaker with our neutral pigtail here, and then you get the panel, which comes with a lid. So what I wanted to show you was sort of how you go about setting up this panel and what I want to do before I mount it to the location on the house. Okay, so let's pop this cover out, take a look at what we got in here. We have our grounding bar that we have to install. A bunch of instructions, troubleshooting guide. We got a label for the panel, which we'll put on. A couple fasteners for the grounding bar, a cap and gasket for the top, a bonding strap, again for the grounding, depending on your code, what area you live in, you may need that. And then we have the box itself. So if you're mounting from the soffit or eaves down, you're going to have a connector fastened here where your Teck cable is going to come into the top. You're going to utilize this. In our situation, we are mounting to the house. We're feeding from the bottom, and we're feeding through the wall of the house into one of the knockouts in the back here. So we are going to utilize this cap and seal to close up this top hole. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take our top cap that comes with the gasket, and we're going to set this in. So you line up these 4 tabs, and you make sure your gasket is in place. I'm going to stand it up so you guys can see it here. I want to make sure this gasket doesn't get, it stays outside this hole, so it's a good seal all the way around, just like that. And then I'm going to hold it with this hand. I'm going to put this strap across. I don't know how well you can see this, but it comes with a self-tapping wing nut that you put on, and that's going to put pressure on this bar, and it's going to hold this cap in place. Doesn't matter the orientation of the bar, it's just a strap across to hold this tight and to make sure the gasket is it's held in place. So we'll tighten this down there, and that's good. That's our top seal. Next, we're going to determine what's going into the box. So we have an 8.3 NMD wire coming from inside the house, and as I mentioned, we're going to bring that through the back of the panel. And we also have an 8.3 Teck cable, an armored Teck cable, that's going to come from the ground through the bottom of the panel. We've got the corresponding connectors for those. We have a Lumex connector for the 8.3 from the house, from the panel, and we have a weather tight aluminum Teck connector that our Teck's gonna feed into, and this is gonna keep the water out, which is gonna go here. So next step, what we'll do is we'll figure out what size of knockout we need to remove, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, so we've got the lock nut off our Teck connector, and we're just gonna line it up with the knockout here. And it looks like I'm gonna be removing the first inner one and the first ring. Okay, so the way you take these out is typically grab a flat screwdriver and a hammer, and you just tap these knockouts on one side. Just a little quick tap knocks it loose. And then what I like to do, grab the cover with a pair of pliers, if you can get in there. Bend it back and forth a couple times and it knocks that ring out. Second ring, you want to hit from the inside. Start bending this ring. Grab the second half of this one. Looks like it's gonna come out in pieces in this case. Just one little piece on the bottom there. Usually these things come out fairly easy, but this one's got some pretty good tack welds on it. But as you can see, we got our weather tight connector. It's gonna go into the bottom of the panel. We're gonna spin our lock ring on this. And the way you tighten these is you take your flat screwdriver and you put it against these tabs, and you just tap it and you work your way around just like that. And that's done. Ready for our Teck cable. So the connector coming from the house is also 8-3 wire, so we need to take out both rings. This panel made it a little tougher, but we got them both out. And you see that how that fits in there and expands and is ready to go. So we're gonna turn this over and we're gonna lock this down the same way we did with the Teck connector. Okay, now we have our connectors in place for both of the conductor coming into this panel. Lastly, we're gonna attach our ground bar. Gives you a little label to mark the ground strip, and it gives you an idea where to put it on the panel. We've got a couple of holes that are already drilled, and it's gonna go right in here. Grab a number 2 Robertson screwdriver, and you're gonna fasten this ground bar in. Screw goes into one of the holes given to you in the box. And now we have our ground lugs ready for both conductors. Just gonna throw this decal in there. Easy way to tell though, this is a ground bar attached to the box, and the ground wire goes all the way back to the panel. This is your neutral bar. You can see it's protected by plastic, so it's isolated. These are your 2 hots that are gonna come from the 8-3 from the panel, black and red, and it doesn't matter which order they go in. Lastly, I'll just mention before we go to install this on the house, your breaker installs from 2 points. It has this hook on the bottom, and then it has these metal tabs in the top of it, which slide onto the bus here. So the first thing you do as you're installing your breaker is you put your hook into the bottom on your bus, and then you slide your breaker in, and that's installed. Of course, you're going to have your neutral go into the neutral bar and all your other wires connected before you put it in, but that's how easy the breaker goes in and out of the panel. You take it out, you just pull up on it. So hook it and set it onto the bus, and to remove it, you just pull up on it. So guys, that's pretty much got our panel set up to install. Last thing we're going to show you is how we went about prepping the stucco surface of the house, and how we're going to fasten it through the 3 mounting holes they give us here. And before we do that, we're going to bring in our conductor from the house as well into our connector here. Okay, so here's the surface we're working with. As mentioned, it's a stucco exterior. We've left ourselves Lots of 8.3 coming from the panel in the house, and I will mention that this is not hooked up on the panel end, so we're going to feed the 8.3 into the connector we installed on our panel. And we're going to tighten down our 2 Robertson screws on the back. So you can see here we got our 8.3 fed through, and we've got the insulation pulled through the connector, as you should. And we're not going to terminate this in this video, but this is how it should look once that's installed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to mount this box onto the outside of the house. A couple things I'll mention, guys. In order to fit this Romex connector and the panel tight to the house, I've cut the stucco out. I did that by drilling a series of holes with the same bit and just punching out the stucco so that this connector actually recesses a bit. And the other thing you want to do is make sure this is a real watertight box. The product is called Duct Seal. I'll link the connectors and this product in the description below. So basically, we want to put a bead of this putty around this connector so that when it sits into the hole of the house, it's going to seal up that connection for us and make everything watertight. So you can see we got our duct seal here, and this goes on before we mount the panel, and that just ensures we got a seal and we got nothing that's going to leak into this connector when the rain comes. So we're going to slide the conductor back, make sure our panel is nice and tight to the house. The magnetic level is really handy. Stick it on the side of the box, just make sure you're not on the knockouts. And this is going to allow you to level your box, because we want it to be installed leveled. Make sure it's where you want it. Take a marker, Sharpie, and mark the 3 mounting points on the stucco. And I've got a little bit of slack on the cable just to let it sit there. So there's our 3 mounting points. So what I'm showing you here is a concrete masonry bit. This is not a hammer drill or SDS drill, but drilling through stucco, it's pretty light. So with this with this masonry bit, this is what we're going to use to drill through the stucco. We're drilling through about 3/4 of an inch. So it does not take much to drill through the stucco. You can tell when this bit bottoms out on the sheeting of the house, because it's not going to drill through wood real easy. It's designed to go through concrete. So now we've got our 3 mounting points drilled. We are just going to be fastening this with the typical construction fastener. So we'll set ourselves up with the level again. We'll start our first screw here. We're looking nice and level. We're going to put our last one up in the top. Tighten them down. Okay, so we got our panel mounted to the house. We're going to stop the video here. So what I'm going to do is just roll up the conductor, have it inside the panel, and just close this for the night. And that's pretty much how straightforward it is. We're ready now to make our terminations inside, to run our 8.3 Teck to the hot tub. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight into setting up your spa kit and mounting it into a surface like stucco. I'm going to double check that I got long enough fasteners in here, but we are going into the sheathing of the house. So again, Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all of you. And hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content from Jofalltrades.